yetu idumu jumuiya yetu.
Kama bado tumesimama, tutaomba, nitataongoza katika maombi. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Almighty and everlasting Father, we come before your presence this afternoon. We want to thank you for the life that you've given us. Thank you for all of us who are gathered here today, our guests, and all members of the Bidco family. As we begin this final program, we ask you to walk with us, bless and protect each and every one of us. With this, I ask through your Son, Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God forever and ever. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Get seated, please. Thank you very much. Madam, our chief guest, Honorable CS, Minister of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, Madam Betty Maina. Asante sana. You're most welcome. Her Excellency, the Ambassador, Embassy of Denmark, Mate Knudsen, you're most welcome. Thank you today. All our colleagues from the business world, all the CEOs and the chairpersons seated here today, hamjamboni na karibuni kwa siku yetu ya leo. Yes, if you look at your watches, we are running behind schedule. So I would like to humbly ask all the speakers who are going to come today to kindly let us adhere to the few guidelines that I'm going to ask. Don't speak much. It's not a day for many speeches, but we sincerely appreciate your presence. I would like to recognize the presence of each and every person who has joined us today. Thank you very much. A few measures of protocol. Due to the times of COVID-19, I will be using this microphone, but all of you who will be speaking will use this microphone. My brother and colleague Willie Sojuang is here to make sure that after every speaker, it is sanitized. Thank you very much. It is now my great honor and pleasure to invite our boss here, Mr. Mads Bamester, to speak.
Thank you very much. I hope it's working. Welcome. Cabinet Secretary Minister, Industry, Trade, Enterprising Development, Betty Meyer, welcome, most welcome. Embassy of Denmark, Mette Knudsen as well. The rest of you, I had a long list, but I've just been told we don't have much time. You're more than welcome. And of course, welcome to the staff of Bidco and Bidco. Without those, we will not be standing here today. I will come back to that in a couple of seconds. And of course, in the end, dear customers and consumers, more than welcome. Good afternoon. Today is a historical day in many, many ways. We are now, and those of you who are in saw that the plant is running, we are now producing and exporting a product that was made in 1966 in Denmark and is now in more than 70 countries. We are now producing it here, and I think that is a fantastic day. I will also say very shortly, we did it. We did it because 6 months ago, exactly the 19th of December, when something hit, and you all know what I'm talking about, parts of the line was beginning to come in. So we were sitting there and saying, what do we do now? Do we wait and hold, be scared, or what should we do? We decided that failure was not an option. We said, we can do it. We can do it here. And just for you who don't know, normally when you set up a line, you get engineers coming in from either Denmark or UK and so on. They didn't come. They didn't come. We put it up anyway. With great effort of our staff here in Kenya, of course also by using technology, with help from our partners both in Denmark and UK. So that's why I say we did it. We looked at COVID-19. Of course, it's a disaster. We all know that. But as Charles Darwin said, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, but the most adaptable. So we sat down and say, how can we grow our business throughout this crisis? And we talked about export. Export. Because we know some markets are hit, some are coming in, some are coming out of the crisis. So export was the solution. So that's another reason why we really took it very seriously to build this line and put it up. So what we are producing here, and I think it's a fantastic story and also number that I'm going to give you now, over 90% of what we export in this line will be for export, predominantly outside East Africa. We will, from Kenya, now be exporting not only to West Africa, but also to Europe and to Asia. And I think that's a fantastic thing as well. And I would also like to say a big thanks to the government of Kenya to creating this environment that make it possible that we can compete. Because export is all about competition. Export business is not easy. Everybody will probably say there's no business today that is easy, but especially export business is not easy. We need at all times to be able to deliver extremely high quality at a very competitive price. And the government of Kenya have created an environment where it actually makes it possible. You also saw we had 2 lines that we are right now changing spare parts to, because from Monday morning we will begin to produce and export to Denmark from here. To Denmark from here. And it's only possible because we have a very good export, I would say, environment here. We have very good access now to Mombasa. Our infrastructure is good. Our ports are working. So as a representing a foreign investor, I can only say really asante sana for that. It really, really helps us a lot. And actually, it's also not a secret. This line you saw, not this line, this is a new line, but we actually shut down our factory in Mauritius and moved the production to here because of this environment. So once again, we're very grateful. I hope none of you are for Mauritius right now, but at least we are very competitive here, and we are really appreciating that. As I said, export is tough business. So at all time, we need to be competitive. And some of the parts we saw in there, some of the elements in our products are still imported. But I would really, really hope that very soon we will be able to get raw materials as well from here. But as representative of an exporter, I have to say something to the business environment here. Please, there's 3 things we should always focus on: high quality, at a competitive price, and stable supply. If we can do that, then we have a very great future here for all of us, I'm sure for that. But bear in mind that, for example, Mauritius is a market where this product, Sunquick, have been for 30 years. 30 years. It's the biggest brand in Mauritius in that category. So if any extra cost suddenly becomes added on here, I have to pass it on to Mauritius, and the risk is that I will lose it. So competitive is extremely important. I promised a short speech. Some will say it was long, some will say it's short. But once again, I would say we made the impossible possible. I would like to thank everybody here, Shah family for believing in us, also the owners in Denmark, they are here somewhere, to believe in us. And I can promise the owners, as I said, we did it. We are ready to do it again. Export more, invest more, we are ready to do it. So once again, all of you, thank you for coming. And the biggest thank you to all the staff of Bidco in Kenya. Now I'm a little bit, I will not start crying, but I get a little bit emotional because I've been around the world for many, many companies. What you did here during this crisis, putting up a line against all odds, that is simply fantastic. So a big thank you to all. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Matt. We made the impossible possible. Another round of applause for Matt, please. Asante sana. Now, the next person I'm going to ask to speak is a woman who has been with Bidco Africa every step of the journey. She's walked this journey with us. When Bidco was born, she was there with us, and she has supported us all through. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for CEO, Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Madam Phyllis Wakiaga. Karibu, 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 madam.
Thank you very much. I think I would like to start by just giving a hearty clap to the team at Bidco. Let's clap for them. Because what we have seen as we visited their factory, I think that's a state-of-the-art factory. Because I've visited factories in Kenya and around the world, and I must say that you've done a tremendous job. I'll then recognize the CS. Thank you for all your support through this journey. The Danish ambassador, all the KM chairmen. I think we have about 4 incoming, outgoing, former chairmen in the room, and we really appreciate all of you. But for today, what I want to say that for me, this is a silver lining in the dark cloud that has been COVID, because this has demonstrated the resilience of industry in Kenya, the ingenuity of industry in Kenya, the ability to adapt and grow. So I really want to congratulate the team at Bidco, the leadership led by our former chair at Kenya Association of Manufacturers and our advisory member, Vimal Shah. Your team has done a tremendous job. Your partners and everyone, I think, have really demonstrated that even within this dark period, that things can grow out of all this. I'm also commending you for the export agenda that you have. I think the previous speaker has spoken about the fact that you are exporting a significant amount of your product, and the way forward for industry is export. The local market is not adequate enough to grow industry. So looking out of the market, looking at export markets, I think is the way to go. I also want to really say that the issues of competitiveness that you spoke about are issues that we continue to address. And the Ministry of Industry has been a partner in dealing with every issue that we bring to their table. CS Betty Maina and the rest of her team are always listening to us, always looking at ways to address the issues that we raise to them. So we continue to appreciate that and commit that we will walk the journey with you even beyond today. I know we've done a lot with your team as we were dealing with the EGMS and everything we deal with on a daily basis, and I know some of the things that we still need to work on together. But at this point, really congratulations to you. We really wish you God's blessings as you grow your business, as the team continues to grow in this market. I also want to congratulate your team. I know without them, this would not have been possible. And as we also go through this difficult period of COVID, I pray for all of us to keep safe. Let's continue observing the guidance that has been given to us by the Ministry of Health. And I wish all of us well. And thank you very much. I know my chair has the formal remarks for the association, but I congratulate you for this great achievement. Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Now, when the CEO of the largest association of manufacturers gives you a thumbs up, you know you're doing the not only great, but exemplary. Asante sana, Madam Phyllis Wakiaga. Now, the next person to speak is a person who we all know, we all love his leadership, and we all appreciate how he's been associating with us. We miss him on other quarters, but we keep praying for him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our good friend who is standing before I call him. None other than Poli Kapigade. Asante sana. Asante sana. Karibu, karibu, Mheshimiwa.
My friend, our Cabinet Secretary for Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise, Madam Betty Maina, my friend Vimal Shah, and your brother Tarun. You've been friends and brothers for very many years, and former chairman of Kenya Association of Manufacturers. My chairman, Sachin Gudka, my chairman, Mushai Konyiha from the Association of Manufacturers, an absolute superstar in the, I call you a superstar because quietly I know what you have done, Your Excellency Mette Knudsen, the ambassador of Denmark. Very quietly, in a very quiet way, what you've done for the people of Denmark in supporting the people of Kenya is something we truly admire. All protocols observed, and also my chairman, my CEO at the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Phyllis Wakiaga, all protocols observed. Let me say good afternoon. I stand here to represent and to make few comments on behalf of Equity Group Holdings, where I serve as Group Chief Commercial Officer, and to come to this sanctuary of refreshment and delight. That's what I can call this place. And right at the heart of a global pestilence of COVID-19, to see an entrepreneur who then stands up and brings this and is able to justify and puts up this, because where we are sitting is a world-class center of logistics. We are very, very proud of you. We at the Equity Group Holdings wish to say a big congratulations to you and look forward to being your partners into the future as we serve Kenyans everywhere. We know these products to get to the market to require liquidity, and we shall stand with you to make sure we infuse that liquidity and oxygen into small, medium enterprises that buy and sell these products. Let me close by saying why I'm refreshed and delighted today. Vimal, you may not know, but I'm a local boy. This is my home area. So you have your chief salesman in Ruiru will become me. Your chief salesman in Ruiru will become me, and we're very, very proud to see what you have put together. This is as good as it gets. Our mission always at Equity Group is to transform lives and livelihoods. And what we have seen here today is a springboard of livelihoods for a lot of Kenyans, not just for you, but for a lot of Kenyans. And to government, thank you very much. You've been working 24/7. We've been seeing what you have done in helping us follow the guidelines of COVID-19, in securing our country. And we don't say enough thank you to government. We want to wish you well, pass our warm regards to the entire cabinet. We really acknowledge what you have done for our country, and rest assured that all of us in the private sector and in business continue to stand with you. God bless you all. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Asante sana kijana wetu wa mtaa. Umesema hapo huko nyumbani. Asante sana. Ningependa kumkaribisha sasa MD wa Ken Invest, Bwana Moses Ikana. Asante sana. Utatuambia kama wewe pia ni kijana wa mtaa. Asante sana ndugu yangu.
My Minister, Honorable Betty Maina, Your Excellency, Madam Nansen, Vimal Shah, and the team from Bidco and Bidco, who have done a fantastic job now. The outgoing and incoming chairpersons of CAM, the CEO and the other team, my friend Porekap, and everybody else, good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. Yeah, so I'm very happy. You see, my job is to promote Kenya to investors. So my happiest moment is when I see an event like this, whether I've made it happen, or if somebody has made it happen, but it has come to Kenya, I feel very happy. So I think my first point is to really congratulate Bidco partners for really having the confidence in our country and putting up this, excellent and a huge investment. Hongera sana, and thank you very much. Especially happening during a COVID period when everybody is not sure about their survival, what will happen tomorrow or the next month or next year. What you are doing today is really a sign of confidence, and we appreciate very much. I also want to make a commitment from where I work. Of course, my boss is here, but I have to say she's giving us a good leadership, and we are so committed to actually make Kenya a global leader in investment attraction and retention. Because if you retain the investment that is there, you actually get a double dividend of being able to attract more. So this is what we are focused on. And she is reading us very well. Every time we discuss and we meet, that is the focus. So we have developed a new policy for the first time, Kenya investment policy. We've never under one policy looking at investment from beginning all the way to the end. We have it now. We have a very modern one-stop center to make sure you don't have to move from downtown to Upper Hill to South Sea to get your regulatory issues. You just go one place and get everything sorted. If you don't want to go to Upper Hill, you can actually do it digitally. So we have platforms like e-regulations, where you get all the details about regulations we have in different areas of investment. We also have e-opportunities, where you can search for opportunities available in Kenya by sector and by county. And we also have a case management system where you can actually start setting up your investment remotely from where you are. Let me basically finish by challenging other investors. And I hope the media will really broadcast what is happening today and tell other investors, challenge them, emulate Bidco and Bidco so that we can grow our economy, because we have one country, not many, and with a country we love. God bless, keep it up, and Vimal, please invite us for another launch. Thank you. Yeah.
Asante sana, thank you very much. I would like to remind all of us that on an ordinary situation, were it not for COVID-19, we would have done this event on the other place and had a crowd full of people. But due to COVID-19, we cannot do this. But we are living in the digital era. We are live on social media. Please check our Facebook page at Sunquick Africa. We are live. We are also live on Facebook page for Bidco Africa. Those of us who love Twitter, at Bidco Group. Those of us who love Instagram, wanasema ni Instagrammers, we are also live on Instagram. So for those back at home or people at work, keep following us and keep watching the proceedings. Now, most of the speakers today have spoken passionately about the level of investment that we have put in place here. But we're also honored today that I don't think we've had this event, such an event before. For the first time, we are having the incoming and the outgoing chairpersons of one of the largest associations of manufacturers. Okay? So let me welcome my brother Mushai, who will then introduce and welcome the outgoing chairperson, Kenya Association of Manufacturers. Karibu ndugu yangu. Oh, I hope he mentions that.
Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, Madam CS and Your Excellency, the Danish Ambassador, Vimal and Tarun, thank you for inviting us for this event. I'll just start by saying there's the CAM history here. In fact, my history in CAM started with Betty calling me. I remember Polycarp accosting me at a car park. I don't know if you remember that, at Serena, to join the board of CAM. Those many years ago. And now I'm here as, I'm still the vice chairman. I like to say I'm the vice chairman of KEM. So again, I want to welcome everybody as the neighbors, the neighborhood. As they say, the Mzee of the Mtaa. So we are around the neighborhood as well. So we are just around the corner here. And we make animal health inputs. We make mineral feeds, just there's a big tower you'll see as you're leaving here. So thank you very much. And a very impressive investment. We've been seeing the work from across there, as you know, there's a lot going on even as we were building ours as well. And it's great to see this. I think everybody's talked about how we really need to industrialize our country. And it's great to see something happening. Congratulations to you and your team. And I think also to re-emphasize the resilience that even through the COVID times, people are still building their factories. I think this is the second one we've been to. We had been to BAT, that even during COVID when people couldn't move, you can use local talent to actually put together these factories. So it starts telling us the capability and capacity we have. Yeah. The challenge of speaking before your chairman, and you're still the chairman, so Betty, if you have problems with manufacturers, call the chairman for the next week. He's still the chairman for the next 1 week. So I'll invite him. He's been a great chairman. He's been a great friend and mentor. And thank you very much, Sachin. Over to you.
Good afternoon. Cabinet Secretary for Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, Ms. Betty Maina. Welcome. Your Excellency, the Ambassador from the Embassy of the Royal Embassy of Denmark, Mette Knudsen. we'll miss you. Kenya's loss will be Afghanistan's gain. And thank you tremendously for all the support you've given Kenya and industry over the last 5 years. Thank you so much. I'd like to recognize my friend and the chairman of Bidco Africa, Dr. Vimal Shah. I never call him doctor when I'm with him in private. But he was responsible for bringing me onto the board of KAM, I think about 12 years ago. I got a phone call out of the blue, and Vimal, you were responsible for that, and I'm standing here thanks to your intervention. Thank you so much. The CEO of Bidco Africa Limited, Mads Burmester, thank you. Very happy to see all the directors of Bidco Africa, Tarun, Chris, but also very pleased to see the new generation of leaders come through. Mihir and Soham, hope you get a serious grip on the business from the people you've learned from over the years. I'd like to recognize Vice Chairman of KM, Mushai Kunia. This is actually going to be my last formal speech, so let me go through properly with all the protocols. We have a board election next Thursday and a board meeting, so I will be delighted to pass on the baton. I'd like to recognize the CEO of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Phyllis Wakiaga. Well done, thank you. I'd like to recognize the MD of Kenya Invest, Moses Ikiara, Dr. Moses Ikiara. Polycarp, former chair of KAM, Polycarp Igate, the also equity bank, and a tremendous supporter of industry through the years. And also from all of us who've learned a huge amount from Polycarp and how he handled matters, to all the staff of Bidco and Bidcoro over here, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is a huge day for Bidco Africa, and I'm delighted to be a part of it. The reason we are here today is because of the tremendous investment and the significance, the continuous investment that we see from this team of investors here, not only from the Shah family at Bidco, but also from the Coro group in Denmark. Well done. It was a really state-of-the-art factory, and we are delighted that you're actually going to be exporting to so many countries from here, and to see this as a platform for growth. And we continue to make sure that we have competitiveness over here in local industry to ensure that you continue to expand. We've seen a lot of space for expansion at your plant, and we want to see more and more lines come through, and we wish you all the very best on that. We're also keen on promoting sustainable manufacturing. This entails minimizing or eliminating production and processing waste through eco-efficient practices. We've seen a lot of that over here as well at this factory. And sustainable manufacturing, I think my friend Imanshu is there as well, who's been involved on the PET side at KAM, is to encourage also the adoption of new environmental technologies and innovations to enhance energy efficiency, water efficiency, and proper waste management, amongst other initiatives. We are proud to have established KAM as a credible voice for industry, and it is through members such as Bidco Africa that we've been able to drive the manufacturing discourse in the country. Bidco Africa continues to play a crucial role in industry, not only in creating jobs for many in the community, it's Polycarp's community here in Ruiru, but also innovating and developing products for local and regional markets. Additionally, the company is keen on looking after its people, consumers, and the environment as it strives to achieve the highest standards in quality, environmental, and social accountability. This role is more crucial today than ever before as we continue to navigate through COVID and its socio-economic impact on society. The onus is on us as industry to stand strong as a development partner for our beloved country. So today's launch is a testament to our strength as a nation in setting a strong foundation for a swift recovery and a promising future. The new production line for Sunquick juices will see Bidco support the community by providing employment opportunities to many Kenyans directly and indirectly through its supply and value chains. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate Bidco Africa on this great step and appeal to other investors to look at this as an example of what we can do towards building our great nation and supporting the community. This plant is also a stepping stone to increase markets, increase demand, and increase supply that we desire as manufacturers. As KAM, we will be with you every step of the way. Thank you. Once again, our heartfelt congratulations on the new investment, and we wish you every success. Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Thank you very much. We will also miss you, and we are very proud of you. Another round of applause for the outgoing chairperson. Thank you very much. Now, the next person speaking, I am not worthy to invite this person, so I'll invite my brother and the boss, Mads, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. I've been invited to introduce the next guest and next speaker. And before I invite Her Excellent, the Embassy of Denmark, Mette Knudsen, up here, I would like to use this opportunity. We have a lot of outgoing, ingoing, and so on. On behalf of the Danish Business Society here, actually I think I speak for all Danes. We're not that many in Denmark anyway, so. But for all Danes in Kenya, we will miss you. 5 years here, I know you really appreciate it. You will be missed. We hope your successor will take over with the same spirit and the energy that you have done. And I should also say from the chairman of Co-op, Michael Ring, have really appreciated what you have done for the Co-op group here. And yes, Afghanistan will get definitely a capacity, I have to say that. So once again, thank you very much. And now the stage is yours, Mette. So.
Thank you very much, Mads, CS, Betty Miner, Vimal Shah, Phyllis, Mads, and all the former outgoing and incoming chairman of CAM. It's a real pleasure for me to be here today. As you understand from Mads, I will be leaving next week, so I think this is my last sort of public appearance in Kenya this time around at least. So I'm really happy that it could be on such an occasion. I would like to mention 3 elements in what makes me really happy today. First of all, that we are launching this product, Sunquick. As you can see, it goes back to 1966, so people of my generation and all the following generations, we basically grew up with and on this product. It was what you were served at all the birthday parties, what you had in your bottle when you were going for an outing, and so on. So it's a very, very familiar product for all Danes. Secondly, of course, this is the second time I visit Bidco, and also the first time around I was really impressed with seeing such a state-of-the-art modern factory that is now expanding even further, and I'm glad we got a little, I think, an extra tour, so we saw a large part of the factory and the way the whole production and distribution and so on is really top-class modern. When we then hear that even during this crisis it's been possible to get this going, and also now looking at exporting even back to the mother country of this product, Denmark, I mean that's something. Thirdly, of course, it is really a pleasure to be able to be here on such an occasion. I've been here 5 years. It's been 5 wonderful years in Kenya. I will thoroughly miss the country, that's for sure, and for many, many reasons, but not least the people of this country, who are the most sort of polite, humorous, active, energetic people that I know, and I think maybe looking at all the Bidco staff, what we hear they have achieved here, it just goes to show that this is the case. So it's really nice to be able to say goodbye with a lot of well-known faces around, and I hope you will continue down this path of making Kenya's economy grow based on this kind of joint ventures, of investments in the private sector, because that is really where Kenya's future is. So not to prolong this, but just to say congratulations to the investors, to all the staff here at Bidco, and to Kenya with this really great achievement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency the Ambassador. Asante sana. You know, we believe in Africa that when a visitor or a guest comes to your place, as they leave you with blessings. I hope most of us have that in our mind. And it is an honor today to host you. And we believe that as you move to other assignments, you've left with us all your blessings. And what an honor to be the last people to host her on a public event. Asante sana. Thank you very much. And it's also very coincidental. I don't know, Mr. Chairman, if this was planned or by grace of God, that we have two outgoing persons, very important persons, at our event as their last public appearance. The Chairman, KM, and to Her Excellency the Ambassador, Asanteni sana. Let's give them another round of applause. Now, it gives me a great honor and pleasure to invite the most visionary leader I have ever met. The man who has made us all be very innovative in our thoughts, Mr. Chairman, karibu sana. Karibu.
Thank you very much. The Cabinet Secretary, Madam Betty Maina, and a friend, former colleague, I think part of KM, and actually, I would say, industrializing KM from where it was. I know because I was there for 19 years, from zero to a hero today. So I think she needs that accolade. But at the same time, I want to say thank you very much to all, especially the Danish ambassador, Mette Knudsen. I think we've had a very close connection with Denmark from KM, and I think we remember that for a long time. And I remember by part of DI, and we used to go there. Your Prime Minister would host us at a meeting where the private sector is sitting there with the Prime Minister and talking about competitiveness. And I think Betty, inspiring global competitiveness, came from Denmark. So I think, thank you very much. We shall miss you, and we will miss you. But you've done a fantastic job, so thank you. And you can see the woman power, CS and the High Commissioner, and of course, the CEO. So I think I want to welcome you all. Thank you very much for coming. But at the same time, our friends, the chairman, I'd say the chairman incoming of KM, Mushai Kunyia, and of course the outgoing chairman, join us. Polycarp and me are both part of past chairman, so Sachin, thank you for joining us. Bwana Moses Ikiara, Dr. Moses Ikiara, I think a good friend, and we've known you for so many years now. And I guess it's music to our ears that we have a one-stop shop, and that we can do this digitally. Therefore, sitting in Denmark, sitting in Afghanistan, we can have investors coming and logging in and getting approvals. So we don't have to go and visit people and talk to them. I think this is an amazing thing, so well done on that. With that, I just want to say thank you very much to my friend and my past chairman, Polycarp Igate, MD Equity Bank. I shouldn't say past deputy governor, but he needs the accolades. He's been there, but he's been in Coca-Cola. I think he's been in many places, breweries, and a local boy. So I think that's important for him to grow up. I'd like to say thank you very much to all our directors at Bidco, our family. Very kind regards from my father, B.D. Shah, who rang me up and says, please say hello to everyone. He wanted to be here, but we said, at your age of 88, you stay at home, work from home, and you wear the masks. And also from Soren. Soren is our CEO of Coro. He actually called me to say, say thank you very much to everyone here. He's our co-partner in this venture, and he's actually sent everybody's regards. He wanted to be here in person. We said, let's do a video call for you. He says, let's see afterwards. But I think with that, I just want to say even the local administration at Ruiru, at Thika, the OCPD, the commissioners, the industry people, Ministry of Industry, all the staff who've come here, all those representing the ministries. I was expecting Julius Muya here just now from the Ministry of Finance, but he says he's stuck up somewhere. And everybody else who's come here, the Bidco Africa team. Can you all stand up, the Bidco Africa team? Just stand up so we actually give you a big thank you from all of us. Let's give them a big hand. Thank you for making that happen. And of course, the Bidco staff, Bidco Africa staff, all of you, if you can also stand up, and we just recognize everybody along with the Bidco staff. Thank you very much for making this happen. Madam CS, it's unusual times. It's a time when we're talking COVID, we're talking about numbers, we're talking about cases, we're talking about how many people hospitalized. And here we are at a function where we're talking about industrializing, opening up new factories, opening up new plants, and exporting. And this is why I'm saying it is business unusual. It is truly business unusual. And this is what I'm saying as a message. And that's why particularly we want everybody from KAM and the private sector to come here, because this is symbolic. At a time when we're all talking finished, gone, whatever, we need to thank ourselves. We need to thank our government. And I say thank you from the entire Bidco Africa staff to the government for facilitating Kenya to keep running, keep Kenya running, keep it going. I think in this period, we haven't had a lockdown, we haven't had a shutdown, and I think the economy keeping on running was an important thing. And I think I know that very well. Initially, we were discussing with the CS, Betty, and she was quite instrumental in making sure this happens. So factories kept running day and night. We didn't have a problem there. And our supply chains kept on working, which is also why we were able to do this at Bidco and put up the Sunquick line, because we were still allowed to operate. Had it been a complete lockdown, we would have not done anything, number one. Number two, we've seen disruption in supply chains all over the world, including Mauritius, including Denmark, including places like Portugal and Qatar, where we are now exporting to from here. And these are new markets for us, not because we're the only suppliers in the world. The reason is because we had our supply chains running, we had things coming in, goods going out, and we kept that open. And government was a good facilitator. I say was, but I'm saying is also right now. And I think that's important for us all to note that government's role as a facilitator, it's played it well. The private sector's role is to say, let's industrialize, let's keep jobs going, and let's keep the work flowing. I think that's happening. However, having said that, consumers have changed their habits. Consumers are right now looking at things very differently. They're all in their households, and a lot of people are watching us live right now. A lot of people have gone frugal. A lot of people have gone to minimize only what is basic necessities. And they've gone away from luxuries. Nobody's buying new clothes and new cars right now, although I'm told that car sales were good in the last 3 months because of offers being given. However, I think there's a big issue around discretionary spend and non-discretionary spend. And that's a big issue right now. And I think this is where globally, the minute we are globally competitive from here, we can repurpose a lot of our manufacturing capacities in Africa, in East Africa, in Kenya, to be able to look and say, fine, can we supply those supply chains from here? And there, the government's role is facilitator, help us do that. Our role is to make sure we do it. And this is a call to all private sector across here. We have opportunities right now, take hold of them. The Big Four agenda is happening. There's an agribusiness thing happening. We have agriculture coming up. We have the entire discussion going on with the US, how to free up trade. We've delayed the ACFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area, from this month to now. It's in January 2021. So January, if it comes in and it's live, so we can trade whatever we manufacture here, we can trade with the rest of Africa. And that's how many countries right now? I think it's about 34 countries signed on. 53 countries, but they're not everybody signed on. The point is free trade from here. We can export, manufacture, add value, and export to all these countries. Duty-free, tariff-free. And I think that's going to be a huge opportunity. And therefore, it's a call that's beckoning for everyone to say, what else can we do? Government will play its role. It's about competitiveness. Get that happening. But I think private sector needs to say, what do we repurpose? I was talking to some paper manufacturers recently, and they said, if we start just doing the entire printing and packaging out here, make their paper raw material duty-free, bringing it in, you can export to the rest of the whole of Africa from here. We can make it a hub. And I think this is where there's a big call beckoning to say, fine, let's work together. And I think the public-private dialogue that happens through KM and through the private sector with the government has helped a lot. Our diplomatic people help us, countries help us, people are enterprising. We have everything. What don't we have? And I think this is where the will is required right now. Even in a COVID moment right now, we're saying, let's repurpose, let's expand, let's do things bigger and better. And I think this is where we want to leave it here. I want to say that at a time like this, we are saying, let's do things here, locally. Let's export to markets which we've never explored before. Let's explore new possibilities. We're doing a lot more now, Bidco and Bidco Africa, with our liquids. We're going to really put these things together and say, fine, let's make sure we draw to market. Apart from this, I think there is a site for Sunquick that we could probably, launch by Betty, and we could actually show you how to log on to an app for Sunquick, and you can make beautiful drinks for everyone at home through the Sunquick app. You can download it on iOS and on your Androids, and you can see what can be done with it. So I just want to say thank you very much to the entire team from Koro, and they're all over the world, and they're all listening right now and seeing where we are today. The team from Bidco Africa and everybody coming together to make this happen, reality in Kenya. And thank you. I actually had the confidence to tell them that shut down your plant in Mauritius, we'll do it from here and we'll be competitive. The government of Kenya is pro-business, and we haven't fallen short. I think that's important to say that it's going to happen, and we're going to do things bigger. We've got 80 acres here, we've got availability to do much more manufacturing. We set up a state-of-the-art distribution center here just so that we can actually service the entire market very well. And we will do it modern. We can do it world-class. And I think that's what I'm saying to everyone out there in the private sector. Even in Kenya, we can be world-class. There's nothing wrong with that. And we can practice all the global best practices, and it can be done. It's only about a will and a way. And I think this is where, thank you, Equity Bank and the bankers, for sure, for saying that we will actually give a lot more liquidity to the markets through whom we sell. And I think this is where Kenya is at a moment, and I think we've got people listening. So I just want to say, I had a whole speech written out, but I think this was more important to say, we want to say thank you very much. Thank you to government, thank you to private sector, thank you to the associations, and thank you to CS Betty Minor. For I can say one thing very, very openly, that when we, at KM, we got her on board, and we did onboarding from the scenarios planning and, what was it called? The IEA, Institute of Economic Affairs. I was sitting in that boardroom talking about things and discussing with Betty Minor. And she's brought KM to a level where public-private dialogue can happen. And then we've got leadership that's come through, and it's still continuing. Very proud to see that happening. It's the same way as we're building industry. We're building industry in the same manner to say, fine, we're here, we're long-term. My father is born here, my brother Tarun, please stand up and let's recognize you. Tarun's my brother, he's my elder brother, thank you. He's born here in Nyeri, I'm born in Nyeri. Tarun's son, Mihir, just stand up, let's be recognized. Mihir is Tarun's son, born in Nairobi. And I have one son, Soham, please stand up. He's born in Nairobi too. So we're all born here, brought up here, and I'm going to die here. We're not leaving. We're all going to invest here. We're going to create more jobs here, and that's where the whole agribusiness and manufacturing area of the Big Four, we are looking at going very much more deeper into that. And I think that's something that we have as a saying, we're not going to stop. This is not the end. This is the beginning, and we'll look at a lot more things. So I want to say to all the staff of Bidco Africa, we are going places, and we're going to take this thing even further as we go forward. So just with that confidence, I want to say thank you to every one of you for coming today. I know we had to do a small function, but really, I could take my mask off because, we have all this covered and it's sanitized, so thank you very much for that. But one thing the government has said to us, and it's important, it's wajibu wetu. It's about our responsibility to make sure we safeguard ourselves, each and every Kenyan, out there to make sure we don't make the pandemic a real pandemic. We actually sort it out and say, fine, I take responsibility, I will wear a mask, I will sanitize, and I'll make sure we follow all the processes. So thank you with that. I just want to say thank you to everyone who came today here. We had to have a small function, but Madam Betty Maina, it is probably my honor, am I right, John? It is my honor to invite you as the Cabinet Secretary of the Ministry of Industrialization to come and address us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vimal and the Bidco and Bidco Africa teams for the invitation to join you at this very, very excellent function. And I'd start by saying congratulations. Congratulations to Bidco for this great mark of confidence and trust in Kenya. We want to thank you so much for your investment. So please pass our regards to Soren, Matt, and the entire team for making the decision to set up here in Kenya. And just a little bit of homework, please give Moses the details or the amounts of investment because he has a responsibility. We have a goal of increasing investment in Kenya by $5 billion since by 2022, and he wasn't doing badly at the last count. So I'm sure the numbers would help him, you know, at least in time, because we ask for this quite frequently. I also want to thank the team, and perhaps it's actually good to ask the team from the ministry who has accompanied me to stand. And we can tell you what they do so that when you can't find me, at least you can find help. Huh? We have the team from trade. Where is Jared? You know, in the mask. There. Jared is one of our directors of internal trade. So if you're dealing with things around internal market and movements within Kenya, that is actually the person that drives it. Nyangena is responsible for manufacturing policy, and I think he's the person you've been discussing all the issues you're having with the Treasury. Please, Roy Nyangena. And Irene, interface with the private sector, so working with Steve and team, so those are the other people. When you can't find the CS or PS, they're actually the people who do the work behind them. Huh? And then from my office is Betsy and Lawrence working at the CS's office, Polycarp from President Delivery Unit, and Emmanuel. Yes, Emmanuel Alita is also a trade development officer, and Olem, who's a communications person. It's important that you get to know, and of course Moses, sorry, I didn't let this say, and of course Moses from the Investment Authority who has already spoken. There isn't much to say at an occasion such as this, because all you can really say is congratulations and express lots of happiness and dance. Now there is no possibility of dancing and there's no possibilities of boozies and many things going on, but it's a real joy to be present at an occasion like this for two things. One, of course, it's an investment in Kenya, but it's an investment in fairly difficult times that the globe is facing, and to choose to finish your line during this time is probably something you needed to do, so at least you would have an excuse if you had to, if it was the days of requiring permit to move, you would have had an essential goods permit, so you can say we are completing this factory. But it's also the fact that you believe that we can, first of all, we can learn to live with COVID, or we can learn to overcome COVID. I'm actually glad I came today just to see, and especially what has happened in this period. As Sachin mentioned, we also visited a BAT, and they're putting up a new line. And in that particular, because all the engineers have been locked out of the country as a result of COVID, they were installing a new line they had never done with remote help on their phones. So I mean, we actually, literally, these guys are FaceTiming each other and putting up the factory. And I think that really does speak to the resilience and the quality of the Kenyan labor force that is able to overcome these things. There are many of our colleagues that have worked in other countries where one day you show up and employees are not at work, and when you call them, they said, "But sir, last night it rained." So it's like, what has that got to do with it? People get to work, and I really appreciate that about the Kenyan labor force and our own hardworking nature, and we can tell that, Mads, you can tell that to the rest of your Danish colleagues, that one of the best things about investing in Kenya is the quality and the agility of the labor force. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate Meta and the Danish government for all that you've done for Kenya and all the support that you've given us as a country, and especially even during these COVID times. That support to health and to the counties is most appreciated. But the partnership of Denmark with business in Kenya, actually the first time I heard about Bidco was a Danish Business Association meeting in, was it in the Radisson? I think that's the first time that I got to know about this partnership. So all these linkages that you have, you might be a country of only 5 million people, but you're certainly a country with great tentacles in the rest of the world through these investments. The Danes like to laugh. They've got an interesting sense of humor, so they often introduce themselves as a country of 5 million people and 25 million pigs. So together, that's more than, I don't know how many cows, but we have to also add those. But it's been an inspiring country. I think you're now carbon neutral, or almost. I think very, very, very close carbon neutral. So there's a lot that we can learn from a small country like Denmark, and it's been an inspiration for Kenya. Just talking about carbon neutral is that, recently I think we've finished work towards a circular, a policy for circular economy, and even within the manufacturing sector, within the ministry, we're actually taking up the circular economy a lot more deliberately. But a lot of that inspiration has come from Denmark. A lot has been said about this centrality and the role that institutions such as KAM play in really fostering and in dialogue with government, fostering the sort of environment that we talk about. And I think it's really, I just want to appreciate solid associations like KAM. It's amazing that you can come in and find chairman 1, chairman 2, chairman 3, the next chairman, and even know when the next election will take place. But the worst part is that they actually know the outcome of the election before it has taken place. Since I worked there, I think the election of chair is probably the shortest event. If it takes a minute, that is long, because it's really, and I think it's good if associations can manage their affairs with such level of predictability and absence of drama, and build up, cohesion together. This investment is one that is really helping us to deliver on the agenda of government. Government can talk about 1 million jobs, creation of 1 million jobs, but those jobs will not be created by government, however much we would like to. It is actually created by the private sector, and that private sector needs an enabling environment. And therefore, a lot of the work that we really do in government is to just create that enabling environment, to smoothen any rough edges that might be there, handle the issues of regulations, but It's really about creation of an environment for the private sector to thrive. Before I came here, we had a meeting with a team that has established itself, and I guess some of you are members within KEPSA. But their big goal is how to ramp up investment in Kenya to be able to create more jobs, and that was the engagement that we're having. And in fact, in the context of COVID, everybody talks about recovery. So they had a proposal for a Marshall Plan for economic recovery, and it would actually be something that we need to share more with you, Moses, because they have pipeline of different projects that would just require a bit of facilitation by government in order to deliver. And those sort of things are very exciting. For us, it's certainly very exciting for the president. So we need to continue building and working on these things together. Manufacturing is obviously part of the big four. Food security and agro-processing is another pillar of the big four. So a lot of the things that you're doing here are really very well aligned to the national projects. In terms of priority sectors, this is one of them. You've chosen obviously a sector, fast-moving consumer goods is always a sure winner, and would like to do more and try to do more within Kenya. You spoke about the fact that it's actually, you might be making it from imported concentrate or imported products, but my ambition is that we start to make those components within Kenya. We start to make some of those fruit concentrates within Kenya, and therefore we can aspire to retaining as much value here as possible. The work of government in recognition of this has been perhaps around things like where we are now, the development and the support to industrial infrastructure. Tatu is a special economic zone. I know you're just a neighbor of the larger Tatu, but we would like to see more such industrial special economic zones come up. We're working on Naivasha, we're working on Mombasa, at least actually about 3 at the coast, something in Kwale, something in, I guess Miritini is in Kwale, in Kilifi, Dongokundu itself. And it is our vision to try and go and see more such establishments set up and more industries set up within Kenya. But the other thing that we're also working on in government is issues of markets and market development. You've alluded to the American, the negotiations with the Americans that we formally launched yesterday. And some of the numbers that come from our own study from the export strategy tell us, if you even increase our market share by 2% of the things that we currently sell, or even 5%, the amount of potential in revenue, export revenue for the country is amazing. We just use textiles, nuts, fruits, vegetables, the things that we're currently selling to America. We currently sell in those products a total of about just a bit less than $600 million each year. Our estimation is if we increased our market presence to 5% of those same products, we would earn 2 trillion shillings in export revenue in no time, because that's, if we actually were to do that by 2025. And we need investments such as this to be able to realize that additional market share. So once you're done with fulfilling your requirements for Denmark, I want to invite you to consider doing that for the American market from here as well. And whatever we need to negotiate in the free trade agreement to facilitate that market access, we are happy to do that. If you want to do it with the UK, we are also in negotiations with the UK. As they leave Europe, they now create a new challenge because we had the UK market completely wrapped well under EPA and our market access regulations as we enter as part of the European Union. But now that they're out, we also have to secure the foothold that Kenyan products had in that market. And it's our responsibility as government to do that. The conversations with China are proceeding, especially for fresh produce. I know we discussed, there was a lot of conversation about avocados, but currently our avocados can only go in frozen. We still have to handle the fruit fly challenge in order to be able to export the fresh avocados. But that is work that government is seized on. But we are also keen on advanced manufacturing and going into other sectors. One of the things we'll be negotiating with the Americans is obviously digital services, digital trade. But it gives us also an opportunity to begin to think about manufacturing some of these IT-related equipment and high-tech equipment in Kenya. I've been very excited by the possibilities that have been demonstrated by local industry in meeting the requirements of the medical field and especially medical commodities. And a lot of the ventilators that we unveiled prototypes of are actually about to get into a full production. And if Kenya can do some of that, it is actually possible to even do a lot more. And it's something that we can all work on together. So we really want to encourage, and when you discuss it with the rest of your manufacturing fraternity, who do I look at? Sachin, Mushai, Sachin, or all of you former chairmen, please encourage the other high-tech manufacturers to not only set up in Kenya, but to also expand their presence. I think the history of KM is that we also represent a lot of some of the traditional sectors, but we need to see some of these new tech sectors grow up in Kenya, because the African market that we, the CFTA is not, everybody makes detergent for themselves these days. Everybody makes cooking oil for themselves a lot of times. So our added advantage is to go up the ladder of sophistication in our manufactured goods coming out of Kenya. And our studies show that if you actually got into a much more sophisticated level, we can increase our market share in Kenya. May I recognize the presence of our CAS from the Ministry of Finance, Nelson Gashuye. It's really great. I can even, I can detect you through your mask. I'm not sure if it is, right? Yes, it is Nelson, yeah. So really happy to see you here. All I can do is promise you the support of government in your investment journey. We've worked on this together with you. We've worked through these COVID times. So you can, at least you can be certain you have a listening president who instructs us to facilitate business as, to the best of our abilities. And the COVID guidelines are really just part of our way of ensuring that this country continues to perform. So we will always give you a listening ear. We might not agree with you immediately. We might need to go and do more analysis of some of the requests that you're making, but eventually government does come around on many things that it considers positive for the country. I think my only challenge to industry, and this is the challenge we sent through the association, is also to ensure that business is operating within the guidelines, it's operating within the frameworks that are expected, it is producing products that meet the required standards. Even as we go into such sophisticated, a product like this is, people are going to consume it. Can you imagine if there was a mix-up in the system, the implications for consumers. It will be implications for those brands, but implications for consumers. But can you imagine the implications for our country if a Sunquick produced here had a problem in Denmark? You know, it would obviously cut off the reputation of the country. So it's really critical that the products that we produce are compliant and are made to the highest standards. The factory is excellent. I'm glad to have been able to walk around it and just see the level of sophisticated equipment that you've been able to put in. And we really must ask of you and of Kenyan industry that you also must ensure that the products that you make are consistent with the expectation of consumers and are products of the highest standard, so that the reputation of our country can be lifted up. And as I think, who said, when are we coming back to open another factory here? So I look forward, yes, it was Moses. So we will be back here, and we hope very, very soon as we inaugurate another plant. And with that, congratulations, Mads, congratulations, Vimal, congratulations to the Bidco team. You've done it, you've made Kenya very proud, and we're extremely delighted to have shared this day with you. Congratulations.
Asante sana waziri. Tumpigie makofi tena. Asante sana. Yes. Granted. Please. Tumpigie makofi akikaribia. Asante sana.
Oh, thank you very much, CS Betty. Let me apologize for coming in late. We had so much work, and that's why the permanent secretary is not around. Thank you. Yes, we had some meeting with the HE, and he told me just to come and say hi and give the apologies of National Treasury and tell you that we are ready to continue looking on tax proposals and any other proposals that you may bring to us, and tell you that we are very proud. Today we are opening this factory, as Betty said. We hope many other investors are going to come in, and of course, so that our balance of trade can at least, we want to see more exports and not more imports. So we are very happy today as National Treasury and as a government as a whole, and we assure you that we'll continue working together. Thank you, and thank you very much for giving me that chance to speak after you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Asante sana. Thank you very much. Now, I want to ask the custodian of this brand to also speak to us, with your permission, as we close in with the vote of thanks. The brand is called Sunquick, and there's a beautiful lady walking on stage. She's called Angela Mayo. This is the face. For years, she has been wearing the face of Santop. She's been wearing the crown of Santop. Now, from today, we have Sunquick also for you. Please.
Asante sana, John. John has very colorful intros, but thank you very much. Anyway, so mine is just going to be very brief. I'll keep it sweet, and it's just to thank everybody and to thank everybody who has made this day a fantastic day. First, I want to thank, obviously, the CS, Honorable Betty Maina, all government officials, industry leaders and players, Her Excellency, the Ambassador, thank you very much for making the time to come. Ladies and gentlemen, asanteni sana, we are truly honored to have you here today, and this event would not have been as successful without your presence. So we want to also extend our heartfelt gratitude to the chief guest, the CS, who is a representation, as we've all had, a representation of the support that this government, the support that the government is actually giving us to make sure that we remain champions or position ourselves as champions within the Africa front. So we all know that the Kenya has really been making good strides, and it is indeed the support that the government is giving us. And Betty, the Honorable CS, is here to make sure she continues to give us the support we need. Thank you for reminding us that indeed there's a massive opportunity awaiting for us tomorrow. and it is really within our grasp. And like Vimal mentioned, it is those who do business differently and unusually who are really going to win in this race, okay? So to our partners and shareholders, and here I'm talking about Bidco Africa and Coro in Denmark, who are obviously unable to join us for obvious reasons, we really want to thank you all for the opportunity you've granted us to be able to explore this potential that is within our reach. You have really shown us that Kenya is just but a base, and the opportunity lies beyond, in Africa and beyond the African borders. You've challenged us to open our eyes and see things in a different perspective, and also to seek new horizons. So for that, we are grateful. But last but not least, we want to thank our consumers and our customers, who are the real reason we are here today. They are the ones who make us passionate, who make us and the Bidco team wake up every day to come here, because it is our duty to refresh and delight. That is our purpose here at Bidco. And Sunquick is just a new baby in making sure we do so. Just joining Suntop in refreshing and delighting our consumers. So we want to thank you, and we want to make sure you all know that we look forward to a long and fruitful journey together. So as we've all said, now the ownership lies with us, right? And as we can put it quite well, is kazi kwetu. So asanteni sana, and once again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Angela. Asante sana mrembo wetu. Na pia nimeambiwa kwamba kuna ndugu yangu anaitwa CEO, the Chief Entertainment Officer. Ametupangia kitu. Sijui Manju umepangia nini?
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have a little surprise for you. Just to whet your appetites, we'd like everybody to kindly proceed to our noodles plant. We're running right now the chicken variety, and then after that we'll definitely go for the lunch. Thank you very much. Please proceed.
Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite our director, Tarun Shah, to come on stage with Dr. Vimal Shah, and also Mads, please come on stage. Yes. Kindly come on stage, and then once they're on stage, Angela, please. And then it's now my honor to invite the Cabinet Secretary to also join them on stage for just a brief ceremony.
This is a small memento from us from Bidco. We see the CS as an eagle, and here we come Africa. So this is the big occasion where we actually recognize you for your personal efforts, both in your personal capacity and in your CS capacity, and really for making a difference in Kenya. We call that being mad. MAD means being mad. Making a difference. Okay. To Betty Maina, thank you very much for coming today.
Now I'll ask, we are going to have a photo session. We'll arrange some seats here and also some seats up here. Please help us bring some seats. We'll also invite Polycarp Igade to join us. I see he was almost leaving.
you are bringing the
The CAS, please. Yes. Soham, please. Mihir, please. Soham and Mihir. Polycarp is asking, how do we smile in masks? Thank you very much. Now just remain. Now let us invite the entire Bidco team to stand behind. Please, a round of applause as they go up. Sam can also go the other side. Now, before we leave, yes, there's something that has been planned for us. Angela, please.
So we've planned a little biting, say asante, at the Bidco cafeteria. So for those of you who saw where we entered to go to the factory, go upstairs and have a little biting. Thank you.
As that is happening, as you move to have a little biting, the CS and team are going to Noodles plant.